Okay, so apparently my camera overheated on the last video, so I don't know how much of that video I got done. Who knows? Like I said, these are going to be unedited. They're not going to be funny, you know, other than my normal funniness. Smoke another one, Feathers. Now, basically, I just need some content for my channel here, so I already did one video that was like 45 minutes long of just me rambling and bitching, which I might put up. Why not? People make a good living out of it. Alright, so, whoops. That's what happens when you don't turn the gas off. Alright, your oxygen. Okay, so the first thing I need to do here is, clean my glass. I got a real serious problem with dirty glass. So, long story long, my old studio was in the basement of my home, and I kind of abandoned my home, and something grew, some form of scum grew on everything that was left in that house. I don't know what it is, quite frankly. I'm sure it's some kind of hazardous material, but what it did do, and I think is really amazing, is it got on this glass. So it got on the glass, it got in the glass, and now anytime I go to use any of this glass that I had basically recovered, for the sake of argument, or took from my home, if I don't clean it thoroughly, it creates inclusions in my work. It's really bizarre. You would think that whatever it is that's on the glass would melt after, 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. You think it would melt, and it don't. It's crazy. And it does it with it does it with the clear, it does it with the color, it does it with everything. And quite frankly, it's a little bit scary. It's, what kind of crazy mold or whatever it is. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this piece of white, and I'm going to encase it in clear. And this is just some 3mm rod I have that I use for pretty much everything. There's lots of different ways to encase color. I don't have any 10mm thin wall tubing, which is really one of the better ways to do this. If you do it this way, you have a tendency to get air bubbles in it, which causes problems. The whole reason that I'm casing this glass is because I don't want it to boil. I don't want it to get fizzy. I don't want it to boil. So kind of want to get a nice coating of clear on the outside of it. I have a little graphite plate here right in front of me. I have the camera as tight in as I can get it. Now, this particular piece, I'm gonna twist it, the stringer, with the clear to give it a little bit of depth. I didn't completely case the color. I cased it pretty good, but didn't completely case it. So there's going to be it'll give an interesting effect, I hope. So I'm going to get that sucker nice and hot. Not to the point of boiling, definitely nice and hot. And nice and hot. I'm going to pull the stringer. I want this stringer to be pretty thick. I don't want super thin stringer. Okay. Set that aside for a second. That just gets tossed onto the table. Now, I already opened the end of this. This is it's like 14 mil tubing. This is that Chinese shit that I bought at AGM or AGS or whatever. My buddy George was correct. This stuff is really finicky. So I'm trying not to burn myself. I'm gonna stripe this. The reason I say burn myself because the stringer is actually still really hot. You can work with cold stringers. I prefer to work with hot ones. It just makes, and when I say hot, I mean it's not like 1,000 degrees. It's more than ambient temperature. Let's put it that way. So we're gonna. That's pretty good. Now I want to try to keep this thing warm for a second while I finish my cigarette here. Now I'm going to do something I normally don't do, which is crank this torch up. You know what? I don't think I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to put that away because this is gonna take some blowing here. I am going to turn the torch up just a little. I want to get a gather at one end here because I want to blow kind of a ball at one end and then a thin piece at the bottom. Now I want to melt this stringer in. I want to kind of melt it in as much as I can all the way down. I mentioned in one of the other videos a couple seconds ago, if you watched the other video, this particular tubing is actually pretty thick. It's very thin in diameter, but it's got a it's got a decent wall thickness, which is really perfect for my Christmas ornaments here. So I'm building up a little bit of a, it's called a Maria. So now there's a kind of pushing this together a little, and then I'm actually going to meld it in once it gets thick enough. I'm going to meld it in. Shape is very important with Christmas ornaments. I'm finding out that it wants to be, they want to be a certain shape, at least in my head. I mean, there's a very traditional shape that I like. It's like a teardrop. So I've used up about half of this tube that I made here. And I said I'm going to get this pretty hot. And then I'm going to blow it out once it stabilizes. Alright, so there's the top. And now I'm going to pull out the bottom here. What I should do, and I didn't, is change I should have flipped it around so I got a different, so that's that. Just like that. Alright. I like it. It's got a little bit of, it's got a little texture to it. That's okay. I don't feel like fucking with it anymore. Alright, so now pop the end off. This is just like every other Christmas ornament. I mean, like I said, I've made hundreds of these things over the years. The only difference is with this in particular is that it's kind of difficult to work with this colored, or the colored tubing, because I can't quite see. There we go. Nice gather there. Bring it around. Put a nice loop on that. I don't feel so good. There we go. Throw some more heat into that. I had a couple, I had some problems earlier this season with the tips, or the loops busting off. Well, they were breaking off because I was hitting them with a cold tool. Right. So one of the things I am going to do with these blue ones, which I don't do with the clear ones, is I'm going to anneal them. There we go. That's it. Wink. Blue Christmas ball. Let's see here. 12 minutes. Takes 12 minutes to make a Christmas ornament. All right. Let's pull a point out of this one. What I need to do is come up with some cash for a oxygen concentrator, or compressor. I have a concentrator, I need a compressor. So if anybody's interested in buying $1,500 worth of Christmas ornaments, you let me know and I'll be more than happy to oblige. The other thing I need to do is buy more material, so I am running low on this particular material. I'm running low on, so I need to. I had a lot of people ask me, you know, why don't you make insert bizarre fucking item? And I know I've harped on this multiple different times in pretty much every video, but the truth of the matter is I can't not harp on it enough to get the point across. Unless you're willing to pay me a considerable amount of money I have no interest in making whatever it is cockamamie fucking bullshit thing you want me to make. I'm gonna make it perfectly fucking clear again. If you can buy it at the dollar store, or you can buy it at Ollie's, or you can buy it at Walmart, or you can buy it at the Christmas tree store for pennies on the dollar, I will not make it. I don't make icicles. I don't make candy canes. I don't make snowflakes. I don't make actually snowflakes I might try to make, but I'm not in any rush to learn how to make fucking snowflakes. The uniqueness of my pieces precludes me from taking any kind of custom orders. And not for nothing, I have a case of glass out in the garage, in the shed, that I bought specifically to make icicles out of. And I made, and well, then it dawned on me after I made a couple dozen that there is no money in them. Zero money in icicles. Like zero. Because yeah, damn it. Well, that smells me. Yeah, there's zero money in that shit. Zero. And, not for nothing, I'm in the business of glass blowing to make money. Pure and simple. I'm not an artist. I'm just a guy that just doesn't want to work in the body shop business anymore. You can call me an artist if that makes you feel better. But, the truth be told, I'm just